I wanted to make this video to talk about the tanking and threat mechanics of the Twin Emperors and just exactly how it at least appears to work. I can't verify this, only Blizzard can verify this, but we had the benefit, I say, our server was very far behind on the war effort. So we had the benefit of being able to watch streamers and YouTubers and look at these kinds of replays like we're doing now for 2 lockouts, for 2 weeks before we ever even had the gates unlocked. And what we were seeing and what we experienced ourselves tonight was that the melee boss, despite the tank clearly being the one who was closest to it, who was actually hitting it, the damn thing would still just run off and attack other people. And we got to see this on streamers and experienced it ourselves and couldn't really figure it out until poring over the logs. And I haven't seen anyone else talk about this in extreme detail like this, so I wanted to do it because I'm seeing plenty of people there just rampaging through the other bosses easily, and Twin Emperors is just a hard stop. And there's more to it to their wipes, but a lot of people we've talked to and we've seen, this is what's wiping them. So let's set the stage here. The melee boss is down here. This is just after the pull, or 28 seconds in. The first transition is about to happen. I'm here with the square. You can see I'm not quite the closest person to the boss. And our side here was not doing a great job of spreading out, of making sure that the tank was the closest one at any given time. Down here they were. This tank, he was yelling at them on comms, back up, get in this arc formation. He was very vigilant about making sure that he was the closest one to wherever this was going to happen at any given time, which turns out was very important. So let's play it here real quick, just for a second. The teleport has now happened. On the logs, it shows them flying to each other because that's how the game logic sees it. And this is demonstrated in game by the fact that if we were in game right now, you would see the melee mob standing in that position. And you'll experience this if you've done it. The boss is there, but he's just not active. He's not targeting, he's not attacking. He can be attacked. He doesn't appear to take debuffs or take damage, but he's there. And it appears that the logic is having them actually move in the space. Now, I've already started moving because he's there in game. I've got rage. He's about to get bloodthirsted and sundered. And intuitively, at least to me and to the guild and to other guilds that we've watched over time, it makes sense that when he becomes an active mob, that the closest person to him is what he's going to attack, because he's standing there doing nothing for a little bit. So I'm there, I'm bloodthirsting, I'm sundering, but he doesn't care. Why? Because Jupiter the Druid was the closest person to the caster mob when the teleport was actually initiated. So it's the person who's closest to the mob, the caster mob, when the teleport is initiated, that gets the threat. Again, I didn't code the game, I can't tell you 100% that this is how it works, but we've looked over all the logs, we've looked at other logs, and it seems to be 100% of the time true that that is the case. Except for what we'll get into in a second. But just to sort of verify that, there goes Jupiter. I did tons of threat on this thing. As soon as Jupiter dies, it comes to me, and I get to take it over. If we go to the next transition, and this is how it's properly done. This tank down here, he's stutter stepping forward. He's yelling at everyone, get the hell back, get the hell back. And he's, just spamming his W key, click, 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 stutter stepping forward, making sure to get as close as possible without getting arcane explosions. He's the closest person. It teleports over, it goes directly to him. He didn't even hit the damn thing, it goes right to him. So that's pretty verifiable. But you gotta be careful with this, as we'll show if we go over here to this transition. You cannot see me up here because I am apparently underneath the boss, not close enough to be getting arcane explosion, because that never happened to me through the whole almost 10 minutes. I never got arcane explosions on the transition here. But I promise you I'm under there, and you'll see me in a second. But the next closest person is this priest of Vol'jin's here. So if we play it, the transition's going to happen anytime now. It's going to happen. I promise. There it goes. You still can't see me because I'm actually underneath it. So I've now begun auto-attacking this thing. I'm threading it. I'm hitting it. It becomes active. I'm bloodthirsting. I'm sundering. There is no reason in hell he should be going after this priest, because I was for sure the closest one. Everyone can see that. We all agree. There's no question I'm the closest one. But it appears that if you are too close, and this isn't the only time in our replay that that's happened, and we looked at some other replays of guilds on our server that are struggling, and we've seen this happen with them too. If you are too close, it ignores you and goes for the priest. Priest runs it to me to try and get it off of him, but the thread is so hard to pull off, that initial closest person thread. So there appears to be a sweet spot of being the closest person, but not being too close. And too close can still mean that you're far enough away not to get arcane explosions. At least it appears that way, because it never happened to us. Another quick thing to mention on this boss is disengaging from the caster mob when he's teleported on you as a tank. So you'll see that the transition just happened here, and as soon as it happens, the tank can run out because he's fulfilled his purpose. It's much simpler receiving the casting mob than it is to receive the melee mob. The tank is obviously going to be there. Being too close in this case doesn't seem to matter, but that caster mob is going to be shadow bolting you no matter where the heck you are. So as soon as it teleports on, you can run out. You can see this tank did not stick around for even a second. The thing appeared and he got the heck out, and he's getting blasted here, but then the warlock takes it over. So you do not need to sit there and take any arcane explosions, because that can actually mess things up, and it can definitely kill you. The arcane explosion hits for over 3,000, the shadow bolt hits for over 3,000, and that can mess you up pretty bad. If you've got around 8,000 health, you should be around that if you're tanking this. If you're not completely topped off, that can kill you. So it's best to just run the heck out. Do not hesitate, because you can just get absolutely clapped by that. And you'll see logs of people taking 60, 80,000 damage on a warrior tank from the caster mob abilities, which is just not necessary. Another thing, and I don't have it in this log here, but hunter pets can mess you up. If a hunter pet is attacking the melee mob and it teleports, they don't go right away. So the melee are running out before it ever happens, but hunter pets don't care. So hunter pet can be the one on the transition to get shadow bolted, and sometimes they're like way over here. And if they get too far out of range, so let's say it runs fast enough and it gets over here, and the caster mob decides, because that pet was the closest one, he wants to shadow bolt it, but it's out of range, he'll run over. And you know, if they get past sort of here-ish, they're going to start healing. So it's best that hunters just don't use pets on this fight, because we've seen this happen 3 times where hunter pets are getting shadow bolted. But anyway, I hope that helped. I hope it's accurate. If you can verify that that's not accurate, if you're a 14-year private server veteran and you can say otherwise, let me know. But we've seen so many people struggling on this before we ever went in, and it took us 6 polls before we got it. And even once we did, it didn't quite feel right. And I believe that this is the case. And I'm thinking next time we go in, it's going to be an easy one-shot, knowing exactly how the positioning works. So, hope this was helpful to anyone struggling, and good luck.